can you break down what Loretta Lynn's is? From like who can qualify, how to qualify, to let's say winning in your class, what happens after you win, what is the importance of Loretta Lynn's, is it worth it for vet riders to try and qualify? Great question. A lot of people might not like my answer. I'm going to answer one thing at a time here. Can you break down what Loretta Lynn's is? Who can qualify? Anybody can try and qualify. The way Loretta's works, which I think this is an interesting process, it's kind of cool because it does weed. It's difficult and it weeds out the best. By the time you get to Loretta's, it truly is, for the most part, the top 40 guys in that class. You go to an area qualifier, which is your region of riders. I think in my day, maybe it was top 7 that they would take from that. Would then qualify to the next step, which is the regional qualifier, which maybe was a slightly bigger region. It was combining a handful of different areas. And now you have to get top 7 at your region. And that's how you qualify to Loretta's. The catch is that you can do backup regions. So I never did a backup. I went to Loretta Lynn's, I think like 14 times. I went so many times. I never not qualified, and I never did a backup, which was extremely rare. So what people do is they'll do like Northeast region. They'll do Southeast region. They might do Mideast. They hit all these different regions to just in case they botch one, then they can go to the other and qualify. I almost think that shouldn't be allowed, but makes it a little easier for the people that have the money and the time to go be doing that and dancing around. At the qualifiers, you can do quite a few classes. So I'm pretty sure that like at my area and my regional, I think I would do 4 classes probably. And then likely would qualify in all 4, or if not, or let's say I did qualify in all 4, then you have to pick 2 to go to Loretta's in. But if I was qualifying in all 4, at least then I had a buffer to where if I messed up 1 or 2 of them, I still had my 2 classes to be able to race at Loretta's. So with that being said, you can race 2 classes at Loretta's maximum. They have 3 motos each, which I also, at the regional, they have 3 motos. At the area, I don't think they do, but I can't remember. And I think at the regional they do, from what I remember, which is cool because that really is like where consistency kicks in. The best year at Loretta's, in fact, the trophy is right behind me. I got 2nd and 3rd in 250B stock and 250B mod. And my moto scores were not what you would have guessed to get a 2nd and 3rd. I think I only got on the podium in two motos out of the 6 motos for the 2 different classes. My moto scores were like 2, 9, 6, and I got 3rd overall because people were that inconsistent, which is fun. It really kind of, the cream rises to the top because you have to be super consistent. So that's who can qualify, how to qualify. If you win your class, what happens after you win? Well, I'll put it this way. I got 2nd and 3rd that year at Loretta's in a class with, you guys can look up the results. This was in 2008. I had, and the list could go on and on, but it was like Roxon, Barsha, Baggett probably, Dean Wilson. I'm drawing a blank, but I could easily name 10 more names that are like high level dudes, probably killing it in the 450 class right now. And that's who I was racing against. I got 2nd and 3rd that year. I think from what I remember, I got offered an exhaust from FMF. Shout out FMF. Thank you for offering an exhaust. But that was it. That was like the only support that came about after winning Loretta's. So, and the reason for that was probably a couple of reasons. One, I think maybe my dad had a reputation of being a little wild. And so I don't know, like if the teams would have hired me or not, maybe because of my dad, that could have definitely been a factor. And we only did Loretta's and we only did Minios, and that was it. So really the teams and the support was coming from the people that could afford to go to both Texas Nationals, World Mini in Vegas, Florida. There was like Branson, Missouri at one point. You had all these different ones that you really had to go to get the support. And we were only able to afford to go to, we picked Ponca City was one of them. We would go to Lorettas and we would go to Mini-O's in Florida. And those were our two. So personally, I didn't see any support from it. I could have gone my entire amateur career without racing any of those, and I don't think it would have affected me either way. I think that if I have a child that decides to pursue racing, I don't think we'll bother with any of that. I don't think we'll do Lorettas at all. I really don't. So that was the next part of the question. What is the importance of Loretta Lynn's? I would argue that there's not that much importance to it. I think that if you're good and you show up to a pro race and you do well, it doesn't matter how many Loretta's titles you have. It doesn't matter if you never went to Loretta's, you will get noticed immediately. Where, yeah, I don't know. I think you can kind of skip the Loretta step. Is it worth it for vet riders to try and qualify? Now, that's where I would start talking about vet riders or families that want to have the experience. It's a week-long event. It's it is like a village of motocrosses created at Loretta Lynn's compound in Tennessee. It's not that far from Nashville, which I think Nashville is awesome. It is absolutely an experience. So if you're going there to like make it and to get noticed, don't advise that necessarily as much. If you want to go for an experience, amazing, great. If you're a vet rider that wants to go for an experience, amazing, great. You have the creek right there. So if you want to get eaten alive by like a water moccasin, by all means, 100%, you can do that. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.